The evaluation of my self-initiated brief Dipi and Rex by Michelle Brooks. Overall, I really loved this brief, and because I was enjoying it and loved experimenting, I found myself doing more and not feeling like it was a chore. I think I was so excited to start making this project that I neglected the important research stages and only brushed upon these. The project started about the lack of variety of clothing for girls, with the majority being pink, but then changed to something with more substance, being about the subject of stereotypes. I then failed to go back and research further, which gave this a lack of purpose in a very important project. My sketches are my favourite part of this project. It was fun choosing a range of children's clothing items and editing their style, colour and pattern, and also adding the branding. I think doing this gave a good indicator of where my project is going. My boots were my favourite part out of the 5 sketches, taking something that's usually seen as quite masculine and not delicate, and adapting these to suit both genders. I really like the back with the bumps to mirror the logo, and also adding the badge and the pattern. These are also similar to Dr. Martens, which are extremely on trend at the moment. I love a dinosaur print, and I wanted to create a character children can connect with and remove the stereotype that dinosaurs are a boys' topic. I saw this as a submark and wanted it on lots of the items of clothing and accessories. I also really like the dinosaur. I feel mirroring the Diplodocus works really well, as T-Rexes are seen as more masculine, and I also added the bumps on the spine to blur the identity further so the character is completely fictional. This also gave me the opportunity to try out more techniques, so I tried cutting this out of lino print. I'm not too sure of the success of the lino print. I'm not too sure it matches the rest of the look and the feel of the brand, and it's been quite a while since I've done lino print, so it's not the cleanest, and I did slip once or twice. If I was to take this project further, I would need to look at a better form of producing this print, as one lino cut would not work for mass production. I really like how the logo turned out and think it leaves it open for me to develop a second character of Rex. I do think it can be cleaner, as the bumps on the D do not mirror the bumps on the P, but I like how Dipi's head fits perfectly into the P space. I may need to consider a secondary logo, as due to the amount of text it may not work on all spaces. I bought the baby grows from a charity shop, and my first protocol was to try the masking fluid to try and mask out the dinosaur patterns, to then use the paint over the top. This didn't work, as the masking fluid just stuck to the fabric. Due to having creating these in COVID times, I didn't have all the equipment needed, so I had to use what I had at hand. I made the stencil out of acetate and used the paint as acrylic, but due to this it caused it to bleed and the pattern was a little fuzzy. It is clear to see from this picture how the acrylic didn't work on the fabric and it's quite blotchy. I also tried my hands at embroidering the dinosaur on, however it's quite clear to see that I am not the best at sewing or stitching. It looks more like a squirrel. However, if I was to take this further into manufacturing, it would be done at a factory rather than myself by hand. I was enjoying the project so much that I wanted to tackle the packaging, which was what would need to be considered if I was to take this further. I also wanted to look at making the packaging more of a character too, and more enjoyable for children. However, looking at this in manufacturing, I'm not sure it would really work. I tried to prototype the box, however the cardboard was slightly too thick, so it didn't quite go to plan. However, you can see the gist of what it would look like on the right hand side. Due to the prototypes not really working to the standard that I was happy with, I then recreated these in Photoshop. In hindsight, I feel I tackled too many components for such a short brief, and so feel that all areas are touched upon but not really complete, and I also missed out on looking at production costs and marketing. Looking at the feedback that I was given, I feel the range would be successful. However, this was created on my personal account, so the responses could be biased. This is also not enough feedback to be able to provide me with an idea of how successful the project would be if I were to take it further. Overall, this was an extremely fun and light project. I involved myself fully in the making of different items and exploring different elements. I think by creating the brand and packaging steered away from the pink issue I started with to answer the question with more substance. However, I did lack key fundamental points within the project, with a lack of research where I could have asked clothing stores, children charities and parents, and then continued to let the project down with a lack of feedback to steer it in a more successful route.